The footage in this episode is from my time in Southeast Asia. But instead of talking about Vietnam and Cambodia, I want to tell a quick story. I don't have a big team behind me, I do everything myself, from the filming to the photos to the writing to the website to planning and organizing, all the travel. There's no mentor or guru that guides me, and no one that I can turn to for tips or advice. But I have had one person on my team, and that person has been editing all the chapters I write. And as he was in the middle of editing my latest story, he quit out of the blue. Now, not only did he quit, but he had some disparaging things to say on his way out the door. And after working closely together for over a year, this all came as a complete shock because the editing of this chapter seemed to be the first time we'd ever faced a real challenge together. But I want to let you know some of the things he said about my writing as he quit. And this isn't to bash him, I won't use his name. It's just to help someone else out there that might encounter something similar as they work towards their own dream. So here goes. He said that I don't know what my dream is and that I should sit down and figure it out. He said that a successful travel writer has very clear goals and that there's no plot line in the stories I write because I don't have a clear vision. He went on to say that the things that I write about are not valid and that when I write about going through tough times that I'm suffering needlessly and that my strategy is broken. He said that my stories are disparaging and even insulting to my audience, and he questioned if my aim was to actually piss people off with my writing. He suggested that I seriously think about if I want to continue publishing things on my own website. Then he called my writing flaky. He said there are major issues with all my stories and that my writing is reckless and reputation destructive, and that there's absolutely no way for me to earn any money as a writer. Now, imagine hearing all this from your closest and only ally. And I'm not saying that he doesn't have some valid points because I'm the first one to say that I want to raise the standard of my writing. But his words are crushing and creatively debilitating to a new writer, especially one that has been giving every ounce of himself to trying to improve. His words actually have the power to stop me from ever writing again. And here's the really sad part. This is actually his job. This is, by all accounts, his passion. He quit his boring job to become a mentor and creative writing coach that promises to help motivate people to do their dream projects. So here's what I said back. My aim has never been to be a travel writer. It's much bigger than that. I don't care about my reputation or about what other people think of my work. If no one reads anything I write, that's fine. I'm doing this for me, and it's about the energy and effort that I put into it. I would rather be a bad writer, bad filmmaker, bad photographer than good at anything else. I've traveled nearly 25,000 miles over land, and by now I know a thing or two about not giving up. So I would suggest that you find your passion, because this clearly isn't it. And how do I know that? Well, if it was, you wouldn't have quit so quickly and given up in the middle of my latest chapter. People that live their passion on a daily basis, they relish a challenge like this. They don't fold like a house of cards the first time an obstacle appears. And if there's one thing I've learned over those 25,000 miles, it's that if you want something, you really want something, you have to be relentless. This world doesn't owe me or any of us anything. Had I quit at the first setback I encountered, I wouldn't have even made it to Africa because I missed the first and only flight of this journey. This whole thing would have stopped at the West Palm Beach airport before it even started. And actually, I would have quit months before then, when I walked into the first day of photography class, because I looked like an idiot for not owning an actual camera. Or when someone in the first writing class I took ripped apart a short story I had written in front of the whole class. Imagine if I would have quit then. I certainly wouldn't be in Halong Bay and Angkor Wat doing all the things I'm passionate about. And here's the thing. I'm not going to set out to try and prove you wrong. I don't need any extra motivation. I've been doing this out of love, not hate, since day one. But I do want to thank you though, because I'll share this experience with others. I'll talk about how you really crushed my creative confidence at the time, but not my spirit. I'll talk about how I kept going and found a way to improve my writing and make it all work just like I've done with the million other obstacles before this one. Living your dream is work. It's hard work. And sometimes it actually might be a struggle. And if you don't believe me, then maybe you'll believe Steve Jobs. When talking about following one's dream, he once said, "You have to have a lot of passion for what you're doing. And the reason is because it's so hard that any rational person would give up. And I guess I have an unfair advantage then, because I don't think rationally. I never have, and hopefully I never will. And the reason that I can face defeat after defeat after defeat and bounce back from your comments about my writing so quickly is because when I walked into that photography class without a camera, and that first writing class without a clue, I had already made my mind up that no one or no thing would ever stop me.